kingdom is here. The kingdom is now. The sent ones go to the nations. It has been written, declared in your will. Now the kingdom must be revealed. In these last days, your spirit poured out. It's time to reap the harvest. As we carry your spirit, let glory rise. We will not be defeated. Freely you gave, so freely we give. We will establish the kingdom. You'll be revealed in all the earth. To them we carry your glory, and we will heal them. We will raise them by your authority, advancing the kingdom. The kingdom is here. The kingdom is now. The sent ones go to the nations. See, it has been written, declared in your will. Now the kingdom must be revealed. In these last days, your spirit poured out. It's time to reap the harvest. As we carry your spirit, let glory.
Welcome to the Advancing the Kingdom podcast. We're streaming live on all social media platforms and podcast streaming channels. Get ready for a revelatory teaching from our apostle, Matthew Tillery.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. All depends on where you are and what time it is. Listen, I am Matt Tillery. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Advancing the Kingdom podcast. We have a special, I guess you could call it a special edition. How about that? On a Thursday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you so much for listening at the podcast. To those of you that's listening at the podcast, to all of our streaming outlets, we really appreciate you. And to those that's watching live through that of social media, Facebook, YouTube, thank you for tuning in this morning. We really appreciate you. Listen, let's go ahead to get into this conversation. I'm excited tonight, I keep saying tonight because I think it's Monday night, but it's actually Thursday day. Just really excited to have with us today, guy I haven't seen in over 20 years, Mr. Lieutenant Joseph C. Callender. Thank you so much, sir, for coming on the podcast today. We really appreciate you.
Thank you for having me, Matt. Thank you very much.
Listen, he is a lieutenant with the Raleigh Fire Department, and he's also an actor and just really doing some great things. I'm really excited about how God has blessed him tremendously in all of the movies and the TV shows that he's doing. So thank you so much, man, for coming on and just really sharing with us this morning. And listen, your most recent movie is The Forge, which is getting a lot of excitement. It's creating excitement in the body of Christ. It's just creating excitement all around. And it certainly has sent a wind of momentum in the Christian world. So thank you so much for coming on the podcast this morning. What's going on, sir?
Hey, it's good to be here. Good to be here. Good to be living a dual purpose, I guess. You know, you mentioned lieutenant in the fire department, but also an actor, chasing two dreams and doing fairly well in both of them. So I thank you for having me, and we're going to talk on those. So I appreciate you bringing me on.
Yes, sir. I really appreciate you. So good to see you again. Look, so let me ask you this question. Let me start out with this. How do you manage your time as a lieutenant in the fire service and also with your acting career? So how do you balance those two with the fire department and with your acting?
Yeah, the fire, when you work in the fire service, especially in the career fire service, you get a wonderful schedule. It's usually a situation where you do 3 24-hour days and then 4 days off in a row. Those 4 days off in a row, that's a firefighter weekend. It might seem like a week or something more to somebody else, but you do as much as you can in those times off. And you've heard that old adage, every firefighter has a second job. Right. Sometimes they have a second and third job. Right. My second job just happens to be acting. I have a theater background. I'm originally from New Jersey, so I was a theater major at Rutgers University. When I come down here and I started working as a firefighter, and I found out that wonderful schedule, that's when I was like, well, maybe it's time to get back into the acting. You know what I mean? I've been still taking my classes and still keeping my talent and my chops going. So I said, let me go find some theater. Let me go do some things. And eventually I ran into an agent who said that they were more geared towards film and television. And so that's when I started using those days off to start going after auditions and getting roles.
Wow. Powerful, powerful. And I didn't realize, man, you have done actually a lot of movies. I mean, you've been involved in a lot of movies, and I didn't even know it.
Oh yeah. Tyler Perry Assisted Living. They still show the episodes. I was a recurring character there. A Sheriff Luckett. He played a pretty bad guy, but in the end, there's a funny punchline to it all. In the end, he was a bit of an abuser, and Tyler Perry likes to cover almost faith-based type kind of stuff, like the Kendrick brothers,
right?
And he'll do it in a funny way, a little bit more of a hit you on the head type kind of way. And I was on the show all 3 episodes with the Browns. The Assisted Living was their big send off. The Meet the Browns. Mr. Brown and Cora, they had their own show called Assisted Living. And I played a mean sheriff that kind of comes in and messes with them for a little bit, but they got the best of him later on. But also I was on True Detective on HBO with Mahershala Ali, 2-time Oscar winner. And also what you see now, I was in 3 Kendrick Brothers productions, and
oh, wow.
Once you're in one of their productions, you're like family, so they bring you back. So This has been the biggest one to date.
Wow. Now, I saw something about the Wild Frontier. Was that a?
Oh yeah.
Was that a Western?
Oh yeah. I got a chance to do some old horse riding skills. Believe it or not, growing up in Jersey, I used to ride horses back when I was from 7 years old on. So that was one of the requirements when they were looking for an actor to play these historical, some of the first Black characters in the Western settlement that were free. Into the Wild Frontier was about Jim Beckworth. You can Google him. He's a historical character. He was one of the first Black mountaineers and fur trappers of his time. But he was also one of the first Black law-abiding citizens that helped the westward expansion. He was a scout for the U.S. Army. He was a courier for the U.S. Army, but he was also a mountaineer who broke out on his own and lived with several Indian tribes. And he actually became the chief of the Crow Nation for a long time. And that helped him with his, he was kind of like the medium between the white man and the westward expansion, with them dealing with the Native American.
Wow.
Also, I played Bass Reeves. I was the first Bass Reeves on television, network television, before they brought along this other one that just happened within the past year under Taylor Sheridan, the guy that made Yellowstone. Ours was on a show called Gunslingers, and I played the first Bass Reeves. Great production. I think that was a little bit more thorough and truthful than the Taylor Sheridan version that they've been showing these past 2 years. So yeah, wow. I got to do some Westerns too.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. Just by doing a little research, I said, wow, that's awesome. So just really, man, you're doing some great things, and just really appreciate you again. So listen, let's get to the Forge, because that seems to be the popping thing, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us about your new movie, The Forge, and why do we need to go see it? Which I went Saturday, matter of fact. It was a great movie.
Okay. The Kendrick brothers are doing a special thing. Y'all need to understand that they've expanded their ministry into movies. Okay. They started with their church in Columbus, Georgia, and these are ministers. Alice Kendrick, Stephen Kendricks, all of the brothers. There's about 3 or 4 brothers, and they're all ministers of their. Well, it's a church that kind of grew from their family. They went into movies. And this is my 3rd production with them, The Forge. Let me explain to you. The Forge is about a young man named Isaiah Washington. He's a young man that's 19 years old. He's been a year out of high school. And his mother, his single mother, has told him, hey, you need to get your life together. What you going to be doing? It's kind of a conversation we have with a lot of our children. If you're in that age range where, I got one son myself, and we've had that conversation. Hey, you're out of high school. What you gonna do? What you thinking about? College, or you getting a job? What are you doing? You got to start contributing around here.
Right.
That's the same conversation that Isaiah Wright, this young man in this movie, has with his mother. Along the way, he runs into some trouble trying to get that job going because he's being lazy. He's being he's casting off what his mother is saying to him. He's not taking his life very seriously. As a result, she kind of gives him an ultimatum: either you can get a job or leave this home. So he takes it serious, and he runs into a businessman who not only challenges him about respect and about trying to do better for himself, but challenges him spiritually, because once again, he's a single young man. He comes from a single family, and he does not know his father. So this businessman acts as his mentor. And then it expands into a bigger story. That's just the subplot, because the bigger story is the group of men, and this is the important part, the group of men that he runs into, that they call themselves the Forge. The Forge is a forum of men. And this movie is very important for men, black men, white men, men of all cultures, but especially the inner city, urban black man. The Forge is a group of men of all ages that testify and tell you how they got over, so to speak, and they're making a success of themselves in life, and they want to return the favor to any young man or anybody in society that would listen to them. And it's done in an interesting way, almost like a little fraternity. And what I like about it is that the way that it's presented is in a beautiful way. The Kendricks have a situation where they like to show the vulnerability behind being a Christian. Too many people in our society believe that being a Christian, all of a sudden you accept Jesus, and now you're like this super person. You're supposed to not get angry. You're supposed to not, be vulnerable to the wilds of the flesh and all of this stuff. What the Kendricks brothers does is show you almost how to deal with living with life as being a Christian when you trip up as a Christian. Let me tell you, in the Bible, the disciples, they follow Jesus, and they're asking Jesus basically, how do we pray? How do we really, get in touch with the Lord? And Jesus gives them a simple, a simple plan on how to do it. This is how you pray. Well, the Kendricks brothers, they do that in their movies. How do I become a successful Christian? And they do it by showing successful Christians tripping up. And basically, when you trip up and you have nothing else to hold on to, fall to your knees and just give a good conversation to God, not in a formal way. Like you and me are talking right now, you can have a conversation with the Lord right now, from your heart. Right. Sometimes you can even say, look, Lord, maybe my mouth is not saying what my heart is saying. Right. But you know my heart. So let me just keep on going until I get this right, Lord. You can trip up with him. It's okay. He knows everything about you. So that's what the Forge is kind of, without giving away too much, kind of directs you into by way of a beautiful story. I think it's the Kendricks' best work. And the part that I play in it, if I can expand just a little bit.
Go ahead, sir.
I play a coffee shop. And I kind of am the guy that Isaiah runs into when he's still at the beginning of his journey. Isaiah is a little disrespectful because he's trying to holler at my daughter, my character's daughter, Abigail, who's my main barista in my family coffee shop. Right. And he's going about it all the wrong way. And so basically my character kind of confronts Isaiah and lets him know about respect and tactfulness and how he should be approaching, somebody. Right. And I just let you guys go to the movie and kind of get the rest.
Yeah, make sure you go see The Forge. It's such a great, impactful movie. I don't go to the movies a lot, but I do go. But this particular movie just kind of caught my attention because it was so many nuggets in there. And one of the things that really got me or really just enticed me to really talk about this movie, it was the spirit of discipleship that was in there.
Yes.
That was so powerful because the reality of it is we don't really see that type of level of discipleship because even if you look at how the Joshua Moore with more fitness, that when Isaiah did what he did in with the application and all of that stuff, I don't want to spoil the movie, but he embraced them rather than get out of here, that type of stuff, So that was one of the things that caught my attention.
Well, let me expand on that and bring it to a reality, my reality. When I got out of the military, I told you I'm from Jersey. It's a little bit rougher up there. It's a little bit faster paced and this and that. When I got out of the military and being in the coming from the Marine Corps, they enhance any type of aggressiveness that you have in your spirit. They need that for the front lines of defense, so to speak.
Right.
And they're going to mold that into what is needed. So when you leave the military, usually you don't have too much of a anger management situation, PTSD management. They just say, go on out. You're released into the world. They try. But a lot of times we carry that stuff with us. So when I landed in Rocky Mount and met you, Pastor Tillery, but you were a captain at the time, one of the first Black captains and the only Black captain at the time that I landed at Rocky Mount Fire Department.
Right.
Our background is firefighting.
Right,
so,
right.
You were kind of one of the first people I ran into that were you were dealing with your own story, being a leader
right.
there in a mostly Caucasian situation.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Trying to manage things, trying to do things a little bit better than what was required by them in order to be a better leader and an example of somebody else that's coming up.
Right.
In the meantime, I'm coming in, I'm a ball of fire, you know what I mean? I'm coming into a smaller town and I'm, talking a lot of trash and I'm doing this through my academy training and everything. And yourself, I'm running into a real version of the Forge here. It was yourself,
Wow.
former Chief Mercer, Corey Woodard, Chief Drury,
Wow.
Chief Darvin Moore, present chief of the Raleigh Rocky Mount Fire Department, when they were all at a lower rank and we're all trying to figure this thing out, our own lives. Well, y'all guys took me under your wing and you told me, hey, things are done a little bit different here. You're gonna have to calm down a little bit and we'll, come have some lunch, come have some breakfast with us. Hey, let me sit down and talk to you. You would pull me off to the side an awful lot.
Yeah.
And kind of minister to me without hitting me over the head so much with the Bible at first. But in the end, I wound up going to church with you.
Right. I remember I told my wife about that.
I wound up going to a lot of your services. And you would even come back and talk to me. What'd you think of that service? What'd you think of the word? What did you glean from what I was saying or what was being said, the message that was being put through? And I give you guys credit because you guys were my real version of the Forge. You took someone who was not as how should I say advanced, or I was a grown man, but I was still a kind of a man child.
Right.
And with your common spirit, a lot of you guys had a different experience, but I could also we also had guys that related to the military with Corey Mercer and Corey Woodard. Right. They brought a lot of that to me. They said, hey, let me talk to you. And you guys kind of took me in. And I appreciated that because it helped me expand to the grown man that I am today, the father that I am today, and the lieutenant that I am today in the Raleigh Fire Department.
Wow, man, that's powerful right there. That's very, very powerful because the Bible says one planteth and one watered, and then God gives the increase. So we're just I'm excited for how God has moved your life and what He's doing in your life. So I'm just grateful that even the small part that I played at the fire department that was able to instill something in you that would catapult your life into the next level or to another place. So just really grateful for that. Man, I almost brought tears there, man.
Well, I'm grateful because God places people in our lives on purpose. And like I said, I came randomly to Rocky Mount Fire Department, but look who I ran into. Right. And these are people I still, and you yourself included now, people I still keep in touch with to this day, even if it's just a little word, or just a pat on the back, or how should you say on social media, just a little like or a heart or something like that. I'm still paying attention to what is being done because you people were very important to me. And and remain
Yeah.
that.
I appreciate that. My thing is you love people and love God. Love people and love God. And we have to love people where they are, and not beat people over the head with the Bible, right? So, because the reality of it is, even I have some struggles right now. So, gotta be transparent. I have some struggles right now, right? So we can't beat people over the head with the Bible. Just love them and have grace and mercy, just like God has grace and mercy for us.
More people want to see that. More people who are not really listening to or going to church often, they want to see it more in practice.
Right.
And I'm speaking more for myself too. And when I saw it put in practice more is how you can apply it
Right.
to today's standard, because the word is
Right.
pliable.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can make it, without doing the thou goeth forth King James version
Right.
talking and this and that. If you can just bring it to me whole and full and look me in my eye and tell me, hey, let me just talk to you for a minute.
Right.
That's more valuable to this day. We've modernized it. We brought it up into today's forum.
Right.
It's like the Forge in the movie. They do this for the young man Isaiah Wright, and they say, "Hey, man, there's a better way of doing what you're doing. We understand you're frustrated, so come to a meeting with a bunch of men who are frustrated just like you, or were, and may even have had worse problems than you,
Right.
and let their stories massage your heart a little bit,
Right.
and kind of get you redirected and focused a little bit better. And on top of that, they gave the young man a job.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And he started responding in a positive way. And sometimes all people need is to know that somebody's there. Somebody's there to put a hand on their shoulder and say, "Hey, come here, man. Let me holler at you for a minute."
Yeah, that's it.
And really give them nuggets, give them food for thought. And then later on, they want more of that food, and they're sitting there going, "Well, where'd you get that thought from? Where'd you get that why'd you do that?"
Right.
Well, let me show you. And that's when you kind of crack open that book a little bit. And even though you read it to them, read the word, you how should I say, you take it out and you go, and how it applies today.
Right.
And then you go on down that pathway right there,
Right.
So that's how you guys, especially yourself, Matt, you kind of brought it to me that way.
Wow.
We'd be sitting there washing the truck or whatever, and you're in the office writing a report, and you say, "Hey, let me holler at you for a minute."
Yeah.
And you kind of incorporate it along the way of my day, so to speak.
Right. Right. Wow. Man, powerful, man. That's some powerful stuff. And the Forge is really, I think it just really brought another level of excitement back to the body in terms of discipleship. I saw busloads coming to the theater here in Rocky Mount. There were van loads of folk. So it's just another level of excitement, I think, and
Yes, sir.
And that's really great, because like the fire department, it was like a marketplace, right? It wasn't in the four walls of the church, but yet, we were still able to have a conversation, because look, man, I've been 18 before. I know what you're struggling with. I know some of the things that you're dealing with. I know the attitude that you have, and you think you know it all. And I've been there and can write a book about it. So I know all of that stuff. So I'm not going to go there and say, "Hey, you need to stop. No, let's have a conversation. Tell me what's on your heart. Tell me what's on your mind. And then observe my life. Right. So, man, I really appreciate that. That was powerful.
Ministry happens everywhere, not just within the walls of the church. The walls of the church is a place where we all fellowship together and we all commune. And yes, there's power in us coming together and praying for one another, coming to the altar, so on and so forth. But the real ministry reached me outside of those walls initially.
Wow.
At the fire department.
Wow.
While we're eating lunch, while I'm washing the truck.
Wow.
So that came together for me there, because I was trying to get another piece of my life together. That was actually really one of the first times where I was on my own.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Outside of the military. The military is set a different kind of mindset. So when I had a chance to get out of that and come to the fire department and run into you and we start talking different things, you woke up other things in me. And that's what ministry is, yeah. I could gush on. Let me just say that the Forge brought on they show many aspects of what we're talking about. They just use different different places of work. The workout place, the workout equipment place where this young man goes to. That is his fire department, so to speak, like to use it, me and you. And that's where he kind of finds out good direction on life.
Right.
And the Kendrick brothers are doing an amazing thing. I do believe that Tyler Perry was heading in that direction initially, and I think he still is, but he split off into different storytelling.
Right.
Nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But the Kendrick brothers kind of picked up where he kind of started splitting off down the road, I think. And I like the fact that they can show the vulnerable Christian and
right.
kind of give you an avenue to which you can kind of stay true to the message that they're trying to convey.
Right. Yeah. I think transparency is very important.
Yes.
I'm not going to go down there and walk on the water on the Tar River. So we have to be transparent from even from the pulpit. We have to be transparent. So listen, I once again I have some struggles. So I need the grace of God. I need the mercy of God. I need prayer from the saints. I think if we stay in that mode of transparency and allow folk to see our vulnerability, and I think that's will be a driving mechanism to really where people can really receive and they can really be receptive to what you're saying.
I'm challenged every day. I hear what you're saying. I'm challenged every day, Matt. We are still flesh and blood.
Yep.
And I'm gonna tell you, the biggest things that I still struggle with is not sinning in my anger. They say you can, it is said that you can be angry,
but sin not.
But sin not. I still have trouble kind of sinning not. But see, I admit it. Here I am.
Amen. Amen, brother.
This poem right here is the reason why I can be open here, because this is when you hear someone say that, someone else somewhere is going, well, wow, I ain't the only one. And Christians ain't, Christianity sometimes is portrayed as you can't do it no more.
Right.
Once you jump in and profess the Lord is your Savior, you can't do it.
It's all over with.
He left us grace and mercy, and that is not an excuse to act a fool.
Right.
But it is coverage, because he knows that you cannot withstand all of that pressure all the time. The best thing that you can do when you're feeling this vulnerable, and it's the hardest thing to do.
It is hard.
Sometimes go to your war room, go to your closet,
go
right. And say, Lord, I need you to help me because I'm about to strangle this person.
I'm about to go off. I'm about to speak. Look, I'm about to speak into some known tongues.
I need you right now.
Look, because we haven't forgot it. We haven't forgot how to cuss.
No. And see, that's the human factor right there. And that is meaning we need help every day. Right, this is our vulnerability. This is what I'm talking about right here. This expose right here. Right. We don't get it right every day. We're not perfect every day. This is why you stay on your knees every day.
Right.
You don't need to be formal about it. I mean, of course, formal is the church and this and that. And yes, that's very good and necessary. But there's also a point where I'm just standing outside, I'm out here and I'm, kind of, let me step away from these guys for a minute and just get a little word in. And let me just say, Lord, thank you.
Right.
Help me.
Right.
Because I'm not feeling on the level right now. And
right. Because Lord, if they come and say it one more time, just one more time.
Yes.
Oh, Lord, man.
So that's what they do in the Kendrick Brothers movie. Show the vulnerability of a Christian. Right. That's their main thing that they do in all of their movies. Exactly. If you watch Overcomer, if you watch The Forge, if you watch any of their line of movies, yeah,
man, that's some powerful stuff. Well, listen, is there anything else today that you want to share? Is there anything else on your heart that you want to share today?
No, I'm enjoying talking to you. I'm enjoying talking to you like I always have. Look, I'll say this. Say hello to all my friends that I mentioned in our little Forge circle that we have.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And I say that, maybe, I kind of say that maybe I should say it myself and we should get together and have a little,
let's do that. Let's make that happen. I'll take care of the guys on this end. You let me know when you're available. I will reach out to them. We will get together. Yes, sir. We will make it happen.
For sure.
Well, look, man, I appreciate your time. I know you're a busy guy. Good to see you. Good to talk to you. It's been 20 years, but I'm just really grateful that God is still doing some great things in your life, and just really excited, man, about what God is doing and what He is going to continue to do in your life. So thank you for coming on the Advancing the Kingdom podcast.
Hey, Matt, thank you very much for having me. Go see The Forge, people. It is worth everything to your soul. This ain't about money, Hollywood, nothing like that. You have Oscar-winning performances in there. I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking more about Cameron Arnett, Pastor Priscilla Schreier, that young man Aspen Kennedy that plays the main guy, Isaiah, as well as Alexandria Frazier, who plays my daughter. So you check that out and you'll see for yourself.
Amen. Listen, this is been having a conversation with Lieutenant. Can I say Lieutenant?
You can say it.
I love it. Lieutenant Joseph C. Callender. And he's also an actor. He's doing some great things on the movie The Forge. Listen, if you haven't seen it, go see it. The movie The Forge. It's in your area now. Listen, I'm Matt Tillery. Until next time, go and advance the kingdom.
Welcome to the Advancing the Kingdom podcast. We're streaming live on all social media platforms and podcast streaming channels. Get ready for a revelatory teaching from our apostle, Matthew Tillery.